Guys, welcome back. Last time, what we did, we created a bar plot in which we showed to the right hand side, as you can see. And this plot is just basic, it is made on dummy data, and we showed it on the graph or on the dash app. So, what we want to do today is number one, create more graphs and see how we can show them, try to do a bit of formatting. And then we are going to save this to GitHub or some other repository where we can have all these data, and then that's what we're going to use to deploy on Heroku. As far as this video is concerned, we're just going to create four more graphs and just try and format them in a way that looks more of a dashboard than it is right now. Of course, we wouldn't go so much into details, but at least we'll try to make it to show a few more graphs. And for this, let's add a new column on the data, dummy data we had. We're going to call it weight. We can have this as 23, the weight of this person is someone around 23, around 50. We can have 23, we can have 76 and 66. These are all just numbers, so they don't have any meaning. We're just going to copy this figure and we are going to copy it 4 times. These will be our four graphs. The second one, you can make it into a pie chart. Now, since it's a pie chart, we can say the y is the names and the x is the values. So for pie chart, you need names and values instead of x and y. The rest can remain. The third, and we can call this figure 1. This one will be figure 2. And figure 2, we can make it into a scatter plot. So we're only going to change the y into the weight. The rest can remain. And the final one can be probably, let's keep it as a bar, but now instead of age, you can have weight. So that we can be able to see who is more heavier. This would be figure 3, if you follow the logic we've been using. Then we're going to change the titles. So this is the names and ages of the 4 friends. These would be the same. It will still be the name and the age. And for the scatter is the weight and the age. And the last one will be the weight, the names and the weights of the 4 friends. Now with this, we have 4 graphs that we want to show or to display on our dash app. Now we move down here. This is how we had shown the one graph. So we put it in a div. We can call this the container div. But this is not how we are going to show the 4 graphs. So we are going to change them a bit. So here we are going to write html.div. And this div, we are going to give it now the graph object. So dcc.graph. And we give it an ID. Let's call it 01 for the first graph. And the figure is going to be fig for the first one. Now we need to give it a style to make it look a bit better. The style is in terms of a dictionary, so the object of the style is a dictionary, is a Python dictionary. And in it, we give it a width. So we can give it a width of 45%. Notice I did not put 50 because we need to have a bit of spacing in between. And this one is supposed to be a string for the percentage to work. Then we are going to put a display. The display will help us organize the graphs in a row format such that they are put side by side. So we're going to write inline block. So I'm not so good with the CSS, but these ones will work. If you are more better at CSS, you may have more sophisticated way of defining these objects, how they are placed, the kind of padding, the kind of margins you put. But I find that I don't like to spend so much time on that. So this is going to be our HTML object. We can try and save this, and then we run our server. Hopefully it works. Then we are going to copy this for all the other graphs, and we are done with the formatting. So let's see, it should be half of the space. That's our expectation. In the meantime, I can be copying this. Yeah, it looks good. So that's what we were going for. Uh, let's try and extend this a bit. Yes. So here we put in a comma, then we copy this 4 times. Then we change this to, okay, we need to put commas. That's why the server is misbehaving. We put these as figure 2. This is going to be figure 3 and then figure 4. And the styling will remain, but the graphs now we need to give them the actual graph. So this is figure 1, figure 2, figure 2, and finally figure 3. And we're good. So we run the server again. I normally like to check the server each time I make a significant change or whenever I change something. It's saying we need to, oh, okay, I forgot something. So all these objects should be under children. The children will tell Dash that you're going to give it more than one HTML object. So we create the children as a list. Then I'm going to place all this inside this list. So we can just enter. And I think we are good. Now there shouldn't be any error. Of course, I stand to be corrected. Uh, my computer is a bit slow, but I think it worked. Let's see. So we're expecting to have 2 rows with 4 graphs. So each row should have a graph each. So I'm going to maximize this. So this is how the dashboard looks like. There are several or more kind of modification you can make. You can put a big header up here. You can make them into dark mode, whatever you prefer. But I think this is passable for a dashboard. So what we are going to do, we are going to host these on GitHub. Once we have hosted, not host per se, we are going to push this to GitHub because Heroku, our deployment site, uses GitHub. So once we have this, we push those changes, and then now we are going to deploy in a different video. So that's what we are going to do. Now this is my GitHub page. I've just created this repository. It's called test graphs, and this is how it shows. It's a private repository. So normally what I do, I just copy these lines of code, and I go now to where the folder where the model is. It's under videos and it's under dash up. So this is where the model that we've been working on is, and I write CMD. This one will not work. CMD. So that I open a terminal on that folder where I'm working on. I'll paste these lines of code and they run one by one. And then we have git push origin main. So of course there is nothing added. So that's now to start us off. So we can clear. Okay, CLS. I know I get confused between clear and CLS, depending on which terminal I'm using. Git add dot link. We want to add everything in this folder, and we can check the status of this. So these are the files that will be added, and we are going to commit this git commit minus m, and we're going to say this is our first dash app, and then you're going to push to origin main. Now, because I'm the only one who is using this folder, I'm going to send it to origin main. If you are more people who are using this, I would have pushed it now to the branch. So all the data, all the code that we've been creating will be added on GitHub. And how to use GitHub goes beyond the scope of this video. So I'm not going to go and explain how we use GitHub. In case you need such, I can create a different video for that. So this is now our data has been added, and we are now ready to start the deployment process. So what we've done today, we've created an app, created 3 new graphs, and we organized them into a more visually pleasing manner. And we've also shared this on GitHub. So what we are going to do next time is to deploy this on Heroku, so that it's now that the entire pipeline will be ready, where you're taking the data, you are creating the application, and then you're deploying it for your users. Thank you, and see you on the next video.